The film follows Elliot Kintner, Paul Rudd, a dedicated but somewhat timid corporate employee, and his teenage daughter, Ridley Kintner, Jenna Ortega. Elliot works for Dell Leopold, Richard E. Grant. Samituasun, a ruthless billionaire pharmaceutical mogul known for his aggressive business tactics and willingness to exploit anything for profit. Elliot is invited to Dell's exclusive weekend retreat at his secluded estate, a vast, opulent mansion deep in the wilderness. These retreats are notorious for gathering top executives, scientists, and politicians, all under the guise of relaxation but with an ulterior motive: securing the next big breakthrough in the pharmaceutical industry, often at any cost. Though Elliot is hesitant to attend, feeling out of place among such power players, he brings Ridley along, hoping to spend some time with her and show her a glimpse of his professional world. Ridley, sharp-witted and rebellious, is less than thrilled about spending the weekend with corporate elites, but agrees to go. As Elliot and Ridley drive through a dense, foggy forest at night, an eerie sense of unease settles over them. Suddenly, a large, shimmering creature darts into the road. Elliot slams the brakes, but it's too late. The car strikes the creature, sending it tumbling to the ground. Stepping out of the car, they are stunned to discover that they have hit a unicorn. The animal is breathtaking, silvery, white with a golden horn, but it lies mortally wounded. Ridley is mesmerized, torn between awe and guilt, as the unicorn struggles weakly before dying. Elliot, ever the pragmatist, panics. Reporting it seems ridiculous. Who would believe them? And leaving it behind doesn't feel right. After some debate, Elliot loads the unicorn's body into the trunk and continues driving to the estate, deciding to figure things out once they arrive. Upon arriving at Dell Leopold's lavish estate, Elliot tries to discreetly inform Dell about the bizarre discovery. Instead of shock or disbelief, Dell's eyes light up with excitement, as if he has just stumbled upon the ultimate prize. Dell, a man who sees profit in everything, quickly gathers a team of scientists and corporate allies. He reveals that unicorns were thought to be extinct, but their horns were once rumored to possess miraculous healing properties, curing diseases, reversing aging, and even granting extended life. Realizing the financial and scientific potential, Dell immediately orders his team to begin extracting and studying the unicorn's body, convinced that it holds the key to untold medical advancements and enormous profit. Ridley is disturbed by how Dell sees the unicorn's death as a business opportunity rather than a tragedy. She argues with Elliot, accusing him of being complicit in this exploitation. Elliot, always cautious, tries to rationalize their involvement, torn between keeping his job and protecting his daughter's moral compass. Meanwhile, Dell's scientific team begins experimenting on the unicorn's remains in a hidden laboratory within the mansion. They discover that the unicorn's blood and horn contain potent regenerative properties, stronger than anything known to science. Plans are made to replicate and patent the compounds before word gets out. However, in their pursuit of scientific discovery, the team fails to consider the consequences of tampering with such a rare and possibly sacred being. Unknown to Dell and his team, the dead unicorn was not alone. Deep in the forest, another unicorn, a mate, senses its partner's death. It lets out a haunting, otherworldly cry, a signal of mourning and fury. As Dell and his guests celebrate their discovery, strange occurrences begin. Animals in the nearby woods grow agitated and behave erratically. A storm brews overhead, though no bad weather was predicted. The estate's power flickers unpredictably. Then, one by one, people start dying. At first, it seems like accidents. A scientist is found gored to death in the lab, his body mangled as if by an enormous horn. The security team is picked off, their bodies found impaled on trees, their expressions frozen in terror. It becomes clear the surviving unicorn is on a rampage, seeking vengeance. This unicorn is larger, darker, and more fearsome than the first, its eyes burning with supernatural rage. It moves swiftly and silently, attacking those responsible for desecrating its mate's body. The estate turns into a battleground, with guests and scientists desperately trying to escape. Dell, blinded by greed and arrogance, refuses to flee, instead ordering his men to capture the unicorn, thinking that another live specimen would be even more valuable. His hubris proves fatal as the unicorn storms the mansion, destroying everything in its path. Amid the chaos, Elliot and Ridley fight to survive. Ridley, having felt guilty from the start, sees this as retribution and urges her father to leave. Elliot, finally realizing the magnitude of their mistake, makes a difficult choice. He and Ridley must escape before they, too, become casualties of Dell's greed. Their escape is a tense and harrowing sequence as they navigate the blood-soaked halls of the mansion, dodging both the raging unicorn and Dell's desperate, dying security team. In a final confrontation, Dell attempts to bargain with the unicorn, offering it riches, power, even worship. But the unicorn is beyond reason. It impales Dell with its horn, lifting him into the air before hurling him through a window, where he falls to his death. With the mansion burning down behind them, Elliot and Ridley flee into the woods, hoping to leave this nightmare behind. As father and daughter drive away in silence, Ridley looks back at the forest, half expecting the unicorn to follow. Instead, she sees a distant silhouette, the surviving unicorn standing at the edge of the woods, its piercing gaze locked onto them. It does not pursue. It merely watches. Elliot and Ridley realize that they have been spared, not because they are innocent, but because they learned from their mistakes. As they disappear down the road, the camera lingers on the unicorn before it turns and vanishes into the mist. Its vengeance fulfilled, but its kind forever wary of humankind. My final opinion: Death of a Unicorn is more than just a horror thriller. It explores themes of corporate greed, human exploitation of nature, and the consequences of tampering with forces beyond our understanding. Elliot and Ridley's journey is a cautionary tale. When faced with the choice between morality and profit, what will we choose? And what happens when nature fights back?